Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
Oh, well, that was a stinker by the Phillies offense. That was a stinker in the first inning from Zach Eflin specifically. Before we hop into the action, if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button to join the party. Also, crush that like button as well. Just hit it, baby. Hit it. Thank you so much. Lastly, every Wednesday on Twitter, I do a hump day giveaway. This week, you are not going to want to miss the phenomenal prize. It's a Bryce Harper jersey giveaway. Go to my Twitter, @Brodes81, enter to win. Remember, every Wednesday, it's a new item, so be engaged. The rules and information is pinned to the top of my tweet, or the tweet is pinned to the top of my profile, @Brodes81. All right, enjoy the show. What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. It's always weird to record on a day where you lose, but you end up winning the series. So I know today sucked, and this afternoon tilt was very boring. The offense went quiet, and Patrick Corbin looked like the old Patrick Corbin, even though that shouldn't have happened. And I hated the approach by the Phillies hitters. They needed to adjust. They needed to attack. They can't fall behind and then chase everything out of the zone. It was a disaster for you to score and produce early and then fall asleep once again for the 9,000th time this season. It's very frustrating. You score early in the first inning. You get Bryce Harper getting picked off, but you run home with Andrew McCutchen, and he didn't technically get picked off, but with an approach to try and get caught there, and Bell throws the ball home, and he looks abysmal, and Corbin with the delivery. It all worked out perfectly where Andrew McCutchen slides, and he finds a way to beautifully bounce around the slide and magically maneuver his body like a damn belly dancer, just flying through and gliding for a 1-0 lead. It was sensational to score that way. So what do you know? You already beat them twice this year as you're up 1-0. You would think from that moment on your team would have a spark, and then it falls apart. I don't get it. Swinging out of the zone, chasing pitches, and Joe said he didn't know what version of Patrick Corbin he was going to get. The 89-mile-per-hour Corbin or the 94-mile-per-hour Corbin. And essentially, you got the old one, but you got the old one because you allowed him to have that. I also didn't love the umpire behind the plate. Shocker. I feel like that's been a common theme all season long. The expansion of the strike show, but that's when you have to adjust. See, when Zach Eflin, after he got creamed in the first inning, and we'll get to that, but when he followed up in the second and third inning, the second inning, he struck out the side looking. He ended up having 2 innings in a row of bang, bang, bang strikeouts. It was crazy. I didn't love the strike zone, though. He got very fortunate with calls. So at the end of the day, I didn't hate Zach Eflin's performance. I hated inning 1. I didn't love it, though, afterwards. I think it was a benefit of the way that the game was being called. Now, some credit goes to him and Corbin for realizing this is what I can get away with today. So let me work with the corners. Let me strike out Trey Turner inside and have him very pissed off and throw in his helmet. Let me get Schwarber all fired up because of a pitch that I could get away with. Kudos to both of the pitchers, but I don't think that necessarily Eflin had this masterful performance after the first inning. I think it was more of a product of how the game was being called. And if you're the Phillies hitters, when you're looking at the way Corbin is delivering, you got to be smoother. Pounce on some pitches instead of falling behind and then having to work yourself out of this jam that you're at with the battling of Corbin. It just didn't make sense. There was no adjustments whatsoever. Joe was also asked about Alec Bohm specifically, trying to have to make that adjustment, and he does. I heard Kruk even mention maybe when it comes to a righty, you let Bamboo Brad swing the stick because he does such a better job. And this season so far, Alec Bohm is hitting 192 against righties, and Brad Miller is hitting 271. In the 8th inning, you get Brad Miller to double. You get Andrew McCutchen to walk. Here's your top of the lineup. Gene Segura failed. Bryce Harper failed. Rhys Hoskins failed. You thought maybe there would be a glimpse of hope. Maybe, just maybe, you can climb out of that hole and surprise the Nationals just like you did with that Odubel Herrera homer off Brad Hand, lefty in Game 2. You thought maybe there would be some magic, but there wasn't, and the top of your lineup just flat out struggled in that area, and it was very unfortunate. So let's get to the first inning for Zach Eflin. Talk about missing location all over the place. Schwarber home run, 2-run bomb. Bell home run, and this thing was crushed. Both of them. No doubters, no brainers. These things were you stand in your place if you're in outfield, and you go, holy shit, that thing was crushed. Specifically, that Bell one. But when you walk a batter, and then here comes a homer, that's going to sting. So you make a mistake, and the other team makes you pay. You can't walk batters like that. For the most part, they're going to definitely make it sting. It could have been worse, though. It was only 4. It was only 4 runs. It could have been 5 in the first inning if Nick Maton didn't come up with this crazy solid play where he's diving over at shortstop, getting the ball out to Gene Segura, who got the forced play at second. He wasn't grabbing the baseball smoothly out of his glove to turn 2. Probably would have been a tough play anyway. But Nick Maton, wow. Because when you saw the home run fly off the bat, woo, it could have been a 3-run. This was for Schwarber. Could have been a 3-run. But when Bell makes you pay anyway, it's crushing as it is. So, one inning. One inning was the game, and there was another run tacked on later on due to Alec Bohm's poor defense. You got to keep the ball in front of you, and that costed Zach Eflin another run to make it 5-1. Not that that's the difference in the game by any means, but Alec Bohm is the most frustrating player for me defensively. He either makes elite, unbelievable, stellar plays, or it's the worst play I've ever seen in my life. There seriously is no in between. It's you should have made that play blindfolded and you let it go by you, and your glove was not in the right place, and your mechanics were off, and your footwork was garbage, and your throw was trash. Or, damn, Alec Bohm, look at you charging the ball, and look at you setting your feet, and look at you throwing the ball on the run as your body's going the other way. It's crazy the high highs and the low lows of Alec Bohm defensively. It's never something in between, which is just standard casual play at third base. It's either magnificent or it's the ugliest defense ever, and it's crazy. It really is. And sticking with Bohm, he did have that off day the other day, and he came back and he responded with the big hit. Does Alec Bohm need some rest? Does he need another off day? It's clear that he is in his own head at the plate, and he's getting annoyed with himself, and he's getting upset with himself. Sometimes those off days are just what you need, and other times you just keep going up there and working yourself out of this funk. How are you going to do it? Keep the approach the same way. Don't get too far out of your comfort zone. Don't get too distracted by, I'm not getting hits, I'm not performing like I need to. Don't allow that to mess with you too much. Just be Alec Bohm. So I do think there's value in taking time off and sitting down and just taking a breather. At the same time, I also like, hey, attack it. Don't be afraid of it. Attack it. Keep going up there and do everything you need to do to get yourself out of this funk. There are times where the line is crossed, though, and lost is lost, and we've seen that with Andrew McCutchen, and eventually Andrew McCutchen got out of it, and there's nothing wrong with relaxing for a bit, and I wonder if you're in that territory with Alec Bohm more than you thought you would be, and maybe pitching matchup-wise, you get Brad Miller, and I even brought up Brad Miller's defense the one game I did see him at third base, his last performance at third base. I was very excited about some of the plays that he was making out there, so just something to look at, that's all. We did get news about JT Realmuto. Not COVID-related illness, but every time there's an illness now, you need to go through these protocols. They're looking to hopefully have him back either tomorrow with this Toronto Blue Jays series that's about to open up over the weekend, or the following day. So I guess over the weekend we shall see JT Realmuto. No Andrew Knapp love today. No Andrew Knapp special powers coming up with big bombs or timely hits or, just setting the tone from you out of the Andrew Knapp magic that we have had to this point. Not that, I'm just having fun with it, of course. So here's the stat line for Zach Eflin. 6 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, 9 Ks. I'm sorry, but I do feel it is a bit inflated based off of how the game was called. I didn't love his game, and I kind of knew what was going to happen. After the first, I knew that he would dial in. I knew that he would slow things down. I knew that he would find his groove. I mean, that's what Zach Eflin has done earlier in this season as well. Had a stinker of an inning, grinded through, got through 6, only allowed 1 or 2 earned runs. I'm just speaking about past experiences with Zach Eflin and how he has done this. This is something that's common for Zach Eflin. To a degree, that is. And I don't know. I have a weird feeling. I don't know if it's just me. I'm curious. So comment down below if you're watching this on YouTube. I want to know how you personally feel about Zach Eflin. Am I out of touch? Am I going too far? Am I being too harsh? I'm not telling you that he sucked. He took advantage of having an advantage, and not everybody does that. There's still many ways to fail when the strike zone is that expanded and you're getting the calls inside and outside the way that you did. I just think that they easily could have went the other way. If you have a different umpire and you throw the same exact pitches, you could talk about an obnoxious amount of walks, unless Zach Eflin would have countered by making smoother pitches and making sure the pitches were closer to the corners and just throwing it in a different area. If he recognized by inning 2, inning 3, he wasn't getting away with some of those 1, 2, 3 innings the way that he was getting guys looking. But I'll tell you what, Trey Turner not being happy. He wasn't happy in yesterday's game either. And I'm surprised. You start throwing the helmet. You start swinging or not really swinging the bat, I guess tossing the bat up in the air in frustration. I thought somebody at some point would get kicked out of the game. But I'll give credit to the Blue. If you're going to call that way and you see that guys are showing emotion, instead of getting all pissy about it and bitching about it and throwing them out of the game and getting in their face, accept it. This is the way I'm calling the game. You might like it. You might not like it. I don't give a shit. Quite frankly, I don't give a damn how you feel about it. You can show me up, air quotes. You can show some passion, but that's it. This is how the game's going to be called. I saw Bryce Harper get struck out, and he looked back, argued a bit, tossed the bat. The bat did like a 360, a 720. The bat flipped in the air, and so be it. You move on to the next inning. It just sucked offensively, though. It got to the point where in my studio, I finally attacked more TVs. I always had a TV, but I had an extra one because I got a new TV for my bedroom, so I took my old bedroom TV. Now I got the multiple TV setup in the office as well as the man cave on the opposite side of this wall. And I had Brewer, which is still on right now, Brewers Cardinals on. It's the 8th inning, 1-0 St. Louis. I had Toronto and the Braves on the TV right in front of me. And when you had that dud of a game, I was just happy to be in the studio and had all these TVs and watching some other games at the same time because they just were not giving me that energy and that explosiveness that I needed at the plate. And I thought maybe it would be different after the first inning, although shame on me because they've done this and I got fooled. This is a situation that we've seen play out a lot of times. See, you got to give them praise because it is very, very, very high quality to take a lead early. Think about it. You take the advantage. You have a mismatch, if you will. You're up early constantly. That's step 1. Now, step 2 is complete the job, close the door, finish it off. Instead, they allow other teams to score runs, and then their offense goes quiet. Step 2 is abysmal, but step 1 is actually phenomenal. Constantly score a ton of runs in innings 1, 2, and 3. That's something that is part of the identity of this team. The culture of this team is score runs. And since Andrew McCutchen has been flying and no longer a shell of himself, this team is getting what they need to get. Now, though, after that, let's go. Let's go. Why? Why does it look the way that it does? It's asinine. It really is. It's crushing. And I don't like it. See, it's weird because at the end of the day, you win a series on the road. And this team hasn't done that, and all I can ask for is take it series by series. So it's weird to record after a loss like this because I'm annoyed. There's no doubt about it. Internally, I'm not the happiest in the world, and I hated the offense, and quite frankly, I didn't like Zach Eflin fully. And like I said, that could be harsh. It could not be harsh. I don't know. But that's just the way I personally feel right now as I'm sitting in this chair. Maybe my opinions change as I sleep on it. Maybe I wake up tomorrow having my cup of coffee and I go, maybe I was brutal for Zach Eflin or brutal on Zach Eflin. And maybe I shouldn't have been to that level of disappointed in Zach Eflin. But all I know is right now, after the game's over, it's 4:30 p.m. on Thursday afternoon. Yeah, it's a bit of me that doesn't feel okay with it. With all of that, you win a series against a division opponent after failing miserably against Atlanta. You got to look at the positives, I guess, is kind of the way to handle this one. And it's just weird to do it, but it is the right way to feel. Corbin, 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 9 strikeouts. It should not have gotten to that point. There's no doubt about it. It should not have gotten to that hideous point of Corbin looking like the Corbin in the past. The Phillies needed to be better. He wasn't doing anything sensational. He wasn't doing anything magnificent. When you watch DeGrom, when you watch Scherzer, when you watch Zach Wheeler, when you watch these pitchers who, and I'm not putting Zach Wheeler technically in that category, but since that hits home for us and we've seen him go complete game jam, we've seen him be crucifying teams and just mowing lineups down. When you see someone in that element, you kind of realize, hey, there's not much you can do because that's the beauty of Major League Baseball. Some of these pitchers get into a groove where it is dynamite, and you don't allow them, but from a fan watching, you appreciate their dominance on that given day. This was not a Patrick Corbin dominant day. This was more the downfall of the Phillies offense and their approach to the plate, more so than it was Patrick Corbin settling into a Max Scherzer-type performance, a DeGrom-type performance. The Phillies allowed for him to really approach it that way, and it's brutal. Getting ahead in the counts, and from there you set the tone. When Zach Wheeler starts out 0-1, good luck. He does it so well, and he does it at such an exceptional rate. Well, when Patrick Corbin does it, it's the professional leagues. Many of these guys can do solid when you give them 0-1, when you let them get ahead at any point. Hell, Vince Velasquez could probably do some damage when he's up in the count. Same with Matt Moore. So you got to be smarter. You really do. One way to be super smart, go to D. Simone Jewelers. They are my jewelers, and I will never go to another jeweler again in my entire life. They are located in Haddonfield, New Jersey. I went to them for my fiance's engagement ring. I went to them for Christmas. I went to them for birthdays, necklaces, rings, you name it, earrings. It is the best experience. Why? Because they treat you like family. You're not just a random customer. You're family. Hey, Brodes, how's it going, man? How's the family? How's the fiance? What's happening in life? What do you think about the Sixers? It's a family-like atmosphere that you will not want to miss out on. And it's not just about that, too, okay? Let's apply the price. Let's apply the quality that you are getting with your jewelry. It's magnificent. And because they take care of everything on location, they are able to beat competitors' prices with ease. True story. I had a buddy go out and get an engagement ring. We were talking. We discussed things. Yo. Figure something out. You got to go to my guy. Half the price, double the size of the rock, and you should have seen his fiance's face. Yeah. Make sure you tell them. You go to them. Haddonfield, New Jersey, and you tell them that Brodes sent you. Make sure you check out their phone number and their website. Their information is all down below in the description. We are going to go to the Anytime Hotline, and the Anytime Hotline is sponsored by Orbit Energy and Power. If you're looking for solar, water purification systems, tree removals, you name it, Orbit Energy and Power can change your home for the best. They have the best-in-class team. They have solar experts. Everything they do is just beautiful. I'm a new homeowner, right, as you all know, and everything I do, water purification, thank you very much, Orbit Energy and Power. Solar, thank you very much, Orbit Energy and Power. Backup generator, thank you very much, Orbit Energy and Power. Their information also down below. All right, let's kick it off here.
Top 9. Phillies are up. I'm toned out at this point. What bothers me is that most games I'm at work or I'm doing something, so I can only listen to the game and I can listen to parts of it, and then we do really good and we win. Whenever I have all the time in the world, the whole day to just sit, relax, watch the entire game, they blow it. Eflin did all right despite those 2 homers in the first, which just killed the Phillies essentially. But other than that, he was okay. There was a couple pitches that were off where Knapp wanted them. Glad they got the series win though. At least that's good enough. I'm not too disappointed about it.
I think you described it perfectly with Eflin. Not that it was insanely perfect description. I mean, you used the words, all right, okay. He missed some locations with Andrew Knapp, and he did. His command was not as sharp as we are accustomed to seeing out of Zach Eflin. So from there, yeah, I think that's the tone that you say it too. Because you could say it as like, Zach Eflin was all right, or Zach Eflin was okay. And I'm saying it more like, Zach Eflin was all right. Zach Eflin was okay. And that's kind of the way that I see it with him. And there were some other pitches left right over the middle of the plate, and more damage could have been done. Seriously, it could have been way worse than just 5-1. But it is unfortunate that you're so excited to finally watch a Phillies game full on, full through on your day off or on your time off if you're going into work later on. And to be honest with you, I felt the same way. I love afternoon 1 o'clock games. I have my schedule down here with my full-time job here at Brodes Media, right? I have coffee with Brodes in the morning. I actually recorded Open Ice Hits, my NHL podcast with Kevin Durso. You should check that out if you have not already. We just looked at the playoff previews that's starting this Saturday. We can't wait. We're so stoked. I recorded that around 7:45 in the morning. Then we went to coffee with Brodes at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., and I got some work done until the Phillies started at 1 o'clock, right? I got my office all set up, as I alluded to earlier. It's like, yes, afternoon baseball. It's a beautiful day outside. I could also grab the iPad, sit outside in the backyard, have the dog run around, throw the Frisbee, and you get that. And you get a game where it's really hard to dial in at all. There wasn't really much to the game whatsoever. So I'm right there with you. You know, I'm like, get me to 1 o'clock last night. Get me to 1 o'clock Thursday afternoon. I'm super pumped. The juices are flowing. The blood's flowing. I had 3 coffees by the time the game started. I went to Starbucks. I got a venti. You know, I got a nice brew, cold brew. It was flowing through my veins. I was on another level. And I witnessed a game that, unfortunately, kind of sucked, but it's still baseball. So no game sucked. It sucked in terms of there's been better, but it's baseball. It's Phillies baseball. Give it to me any day.
Well, on to Toronto. Simple as that. I mean, our objective was to win series. Obviously, it would have been nice if we were to sweep today, but at least we won the first 2 of the series. And really no offense to speak of. Patrick Corbin, yeah, he was a couple years ago. Kind of sucks now. Probably should have been able to do something off of a guy with an ERA that bad. But overall, I'm not that disappointed. Just got to continue to win series, and let's win against Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto, it'll be interesting. You know, if they win this series, then there's some sort of momentum. You know, if you put together another series win, then you feel strongly about, you know, hey, look, what happened in Atlanta was a blooper. It was a hiccup along the way, and you're not happy about it, but you win 2 road series in a row. There's something to that. So this Blue Jays series will tell me a lot about how I feel about this national series. It's like the domino effect. Okay, what if you lose? Like, if you get swept by Toronto in this worst-case scenario I just played out, and I apologize for even putting that into your brain because I'm sure nobody really thought about that as a possibility right now, but let's say that happens. This Nats series, it tastes differently. If you win the series, this Nats series tastes differently. So there is something to it. I want to bring up, though, I'm curious. I want to bring up Patrick Corbin's game log to this point. I mean, he's been terrible. There's no doubt about it. He's been a terrible pitcher, and I really did want him when he was a free agent. So where are we here? Okay, so against the Yankees, he went 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, allowed 3 home runs, struck out 2. That was his win on May 7th. May 1st, went 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, which is definitely a lot. He didn't walk any in the innings against the Yankees, and he did not walk any against the Phillies tonight. So he is getting sharper. And I don't think he was as bad as what he gave you. Back on April 15th against the Arizona Diamondbacks, he went 2 innings, allowed 6 hits and 9 earned runs. That's not who he is. Against the Dodgers on April 10th, which was his first start of the season, they lost 9-5. He went 4 1/3. I don't think he's that bad. I don't think he's that egregious. I think he's starting to find his groove a little bit, to be fair. But once again, he didn't blow me away with his stuff. I think he's getting more comfortable. I don't think he's a 4-inning guy. I don't think he's a 2-inning guy. He's closer to that 6-inning guy, which is what he gave you his last outing, 7 innings. The previous outing before that one against the Marlins where they won 7-2. So, he shouldn't look this great. He's also not as bad as what his ERA tells you, is kind of my point, is where I'm getting at here with the Patrick Corbin debate.
What's up, bud? I'm here at the Phillies losing the Nationals 5-1 in the series finale. Man, at least the Phillies win the series. That's a big plus. But I thought this game, Patrick Corbin, he had a 7 ERA coming in. But in my opinion, he's not a bad pitcher at all. I mean, he's a really good pitcher. He just struggled so far this season. So I feel like he had the best game of the season by far. And I think the Phillies hitters allowed that a lot. They did not adjust. Corbin was throwing a lot of walks. He was not walking much people today at all. And the Phillies would have kept doing bad swings. They kept swinging out of the zone. And then Eflin, I think he threw that first inning was terrible. But I think he had a good rest of the game. But it was rough for the Phillies.
Yeah, and I guess because I have a hard time, and we've been through this before with a different angle. When you think about an inning, right? So Zach Eflin had a bad inning, a really bad inning. 4 runs, 2 home runs, walk batter. That did some damage as well. I'm not going to say got lucky, but the defense helped him. That's what teams do. Teams help you out, and there's a reason why there's guys behind you. Nick Maton with a really great play. So I'm not going to say it was lucky. That's a lot of pitchers get the play behind them. That is very helpful, extremely helpful. But he did great the rest of the game. Sometimes that sits well with me, sometimes it doesn't. 1 inning can cost you the game, though. That's reality of the situation. 1 inning, if you say, he did good for 5 innings, but 1 inning he was a horrible version of himself. Well, that 1 inning can cost you the game. The offense, you had 1 run. So you did not have the run support anyway. 2 totally different conversations, though. Not having run support, different conversation. We could put that on the back burner while still assessing the fact that 1 inning can absolutely destroy you. So when the Phillies win a game because they score 5 runs in the first inning and then they get shut out the rest of the way and they end up winning 5-4 and they hold on late, I'm just hypothetically throwing out a scenario in this hypothetical, right? So let's say the Phillies score 5 runs in the first. They don't score any more runs, and they win 5-4. Hector Neris closes it down. You win a close battle, and you didn't score a run other than the first inning. Well, that 1 inning won you the game. You did enough. I would like more. I'd rather see more offense. I would want to see more explosion and see you step on their throats and pound the pitchers constantly. But that 1 inning, at the end of the day, that 1 inning was enough. Well, the alternative here is that 1 inning was the downfall, and that 1 inning was crushing. So it matters on who it is, how it is, why it happens, how it happens. There's so much. Zach Eflin did not lose this game for the Phillies. I'm not saying that, but I do think it matters that 1 – I don't know. I don't know how much I can say – he did great after that 1 blow-up of an inning. Yeah, he did. He did, and I will credit him for that. He also had that 1 blow-up of an inning. And Zach Eflin has been strong. I'm not just destroying him and putting all this emphasis on Zach Eflin is this terrible pitcher by any means. I'm just looking at this outing in particular, not so much for the entirety of Zach Eflin. I'm very proud of Zach Eflin for what he has grown into at this point of his career. I'm super stoked to see him grow. I think he's going to bounce back. I don't anticipate seeing many innings like he had in the first inning. So, what is the next start for Zach Eflin going to look like? I just have an issue game by game, and it's very situational, analyzing how I feel about a game if there's one blow-up inning. It's like what happened with Bryce Harper and Odubel. If they would have lost that game yesterday because of that Odubel and Bryce play where the Nationals took the lead, you could talk about all the other outs. But that one play was crushing. That one play was demoralizing. You look like a bunch of little leaguers. When you watch the replay of Bryce Harper and Odubel falling into one another, it was one of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen. So when you see that, yes, there's plenty of other outs, plenty of other problems. I'm never the one to truly say it's one reason why, because it never really is. But in that moment, it's like that's low of the low. I mean, that's scraping trash in the bottom of a dumpster type bad. So that's different than one little error here. I hope this is all making sense. You got to be better. Let's see how they respond against the Toronto Blue Jays. All right? Okay. Before we head out of here, big names are headlining this weekend's UFC 262 card. There will be no shortage of action. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC, has a heavyweight offer of this weekend's fight with 100-1 odds. One fighter will be walking away with the belt. Will you be walking away with the cash? Just pick the main event fighter you think will win, and DraftKings Sportsbook will give you 100-1 odds on that fighter. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Brodes when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 when you bet on a main card fighter to win. Place your bet and watch the fist fly this weekend. That's code Brodes to turn $1 into $100 on select main card fighters. For a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply in partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, thank you all so much, and I will see you next time.